Okay. But we are live now, right?
We are. So say hi to
Okay.
your fans. Hi, guys.
Okay.
Oh, there I saw.
Yep.
I can share.
So you're shared? Just setting everything up, guys.
Share to a.
This is, we need a production team.
Well, we are.
I know we can't afford one.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Why don't you recap so
Okay.
that?
So just to recap what happened this past weekend, we had an amazing time. Unfortunately, the weather didn't really cooperate, so it made it a little difficult for us to shoot what I didn't realize we were shooting, but we shot a full episode of Canadian sport fishing with the legend and icon Talo Labignan. We were showcasing, it was a tip and jig product that is going to be available next winter. You'll see it on Walleye Wednesday. We do a little bit of a rehash on how it all goes together. That's quite a little apparatus. And the price point that they're selling this at, and we'll be selling it in the stores, everybody's going to want one. It's very versatile. You'll see everything on Walleye Wednesday. But the whole reason we were doing it was because 3-4 weekends ago with James Mathias and Seize the Day Charters, we ran into a bunch of high school kids out on the ice. And Jacob Randall was basically the spokesman of this group. And his passion was contagious. It really was. And they hadn't had a lot of really good ice, unfortunately. So a lot of their trips got canceled, and they weren't able to get out on the hard water. So I thought, you know what, let's bring them up and do some walleye fishing at the old honey hole, and it couldn't have gone any better.
Well, should I tell them that you fell through the ice?
You just did.
Okay, then tell them what happened.
No, it's your story. You go ahead.
Well, I wasn't there. I didn't see.
Okay, so it was absolutely hilarious because the only person that saw it was James. But testing the ice, doing what you're supposed to do, spud barring the whole 9 yards. Anyway, I went to a patch where I thought I wanted to check to see how thin it was.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to it, unfortunately. It broke through, and I spent most of the day soaking wet. But
yeah,
beautifully, nobody else saw that except for James, and he did a great job.
And maybe if you are 205 pounds.
Absolutely. One of these days, yes, I'll loosen the old belt and get rid of all this. And, But then,
that was fun. Did you see my video of me meeting a tallow and me crying?
Yes. Yeah. Have you recovered?
Yes.
You're okay now?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that is like, when like 5 years ago when I'm watching, like learning how to fish, and you go on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's the guy that you see, and how he talks is like he's talking to a child.
Yeah.
So the way he teaches, it's kind of like, oh, this guy is so, I think he's a really nice guy. He looks like it. And then I met him on Facebook. He's still a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I met him face to face. He's still a nice guy.
Absolutely.
So he's a real nice guy.
And it's it's different because we're older. But like these high school kids that were out, they look up to him. Like he's like an icon. He's like a legend to them.
Me.
Well, I know, but like so, we get excited. Think of what these young lasses that came out this weekend. To experience that with them, that was phenomenal, and a lot of great memories. It was a great overall day.
Did you guys catch good fish after?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, once the sun started to drop, the winds unfortunately picked up.
Yeah, it was windy.
Extremely windy, but I don't think anybody went home without catching at least 2 or 3, and I know there was a few of them that caught quite a few. So, as I said, all in all, it was a great weekend. I want to thank Darren Young and Tim Hunter, especially Tim Hunter being the teacher of in the school with these high school kids. Took the time, his own personal time, to drive these kids all the way out to my place from Kingston.
Yeah,
that's a 3.5 hour drive on his own time. Like,
Well, that guy's kind of like you. Like, you're not selfish.
No.
You guys, you do stuff around. Like, that Saturday, you were just running around. Like a top.
There was a
Can
lot,
you open the door
lot
for
going
me?
on. But as I said...
I need to go to the washroom. You have to drive them up to the washroom.
But,
go back, open the gate.
For Tim, especially, that's his own personal time. They don't build teachers like that. Right? They don't build teachers like that.
I guess for a teacher,
that's awesome stuff.
Yeah,
so we've got Alicia. Hey, Alicia.
Yes.
Glad you're okay after falling through the ice. Wow.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that wasn't going to make it. Did anyone get it on video? No, unfortunately, Kyle, it didn't. Thankfully, it didn't get on.
James got it on his memory.
Yeah, James is the only one that can tell the story.
Erica's glad that you're okay.
Thank you, Erica.
Scotty's big softy.
Yeah, and called worse.
Hey, Alicia. Okay, so we talked about that.
Yes.
What else?
Well, we have interesting. I got a message from Lonnie Craighead, who is from Get Bit Productions, out in Washington State.
Okay, and that's not Canada.
No, it's not Canada.
Okay.
He reached out to me today, and we are going to be doing. Well, I'm going to be doing my first podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I got asked to do a podcast.
So they're going to call you.
I don't.
Or are you flying there for a podcast? Nobody does that.
I was kind of hoping after this is all done, you'd be able to teach me because I kind of felt stupid asking.
I think they're just gonna call you.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Just like when we call Ed now, it's like that.
Oh, okay.
But I guess they have like better equipment to do it, so you won't sound funny.
Do I sound funny now?
No. Because sometimes when you do phone.
Oh, your voice gets
onto
muffled.
the mic.
Yeah.
So they should have like a better.
Well, they've
equipment.
been doing it for some time, so they have it down to a science. Me being, know, the virgin to these.
So
podcasts.
they have a fishing podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know why? You know what too? So I'm emailing Scott from Simple Fishing.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was saying that last Monday when he was on his way home driving, he was listening to us.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So he's not seeing us, but he's listening to us. So that's kind of like what a podcast is.
Okay, you're gonna again when we're done. We won't waste their time, but you got to teach me what a podcast is.
Well, I'm gonna show you what it is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, and for some people, like if you're driving, let's say we do this live call for like 30 minutes, rather than them listening to hip hop, they can just listen to us.
That's right.
So we better be funny.
Okay.
So that they don't get bored.
We'll do our best. Now, trying not to put people to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
One of our most popular posts this week.
Oh, I thought you didn't.
Yeah, no. Was this tournament that went on.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about it. Thankfully, Bill Maftatruck was able to tell me how it all went down and was able to announce the winner. And Gilles Paradis was the winner of the pike fishing tournament up on Mattagami Lake.
$10,000.
$10,000. Like we posted, and you see the picture of the pike that he caught.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
I think we should just stop this and fish for pike. Learn how to fish pike.
Well,
at least we can make some money.
True, that's true. But what was really interesting to hear, because Bill put it on the post. Bill mentioned that most of the fish got returned, but nothing was wasted at that tournament, which I found really interesting. They served it to the Indian, the native people on the
is
reserve.
this sponsored by a native community?
And Bill knows so much more about this, but
there's Bill.
Yeah, Bill's there. Yeah, he of course will come up next year. But I just found it so interesting that not only was this a huge payout for an amateur type tournament, huge payout, but the fish got donated to the reserve and helped feed the community.
Yeah, I was thinking if I won $10,000 with that fish, I'd probably spend the $1,000 to have that fish mounted.
Yes,
because it's like a trophy fish.
Well, it's
realistic,
a $10,000
literally,
yeah, it's a trophy fish. Yeah.
Is that how much you spent for mounting?
No,
$1,000?
No, it would maybe $1,000. Yeah. I'm not sure what taxidermy costs. But I know it's expensive, but yeah, probably around $1,000.
It would be funny if the taxidermy is like $10,000.
No, it wouldn't.
Right. You want $10,000 and you spend that money to mount that fish.
Yeah.
Well, there's some crazy fishermen.
Yes.
There.
We all are in our own little way. You're right. So the Mattagami First Nations is the one that sponsors the tournament. I can't think of the name of the girl that was the contact. I'm sure Bill will pipe up. But anyway, the reason we're talking about it is because it got so many hits on our site that I thought it deserved being spoken about because
Yeah.
It was a huge turnout. Brandy Eaton, who is another fan of CFN, I think she was a pound or ounces. She was very close to winning as well. She was she was
Just
right
like
up
Calvin
there.
when he
Exactly, just like Calvin Pyle
lost the second place
in the crappy tournament.
.0002
Yeah. So
pounds.
and I don't know. I just thought we should talk about it because the prizes were phenomenal. It's something for our anglers and fans to possibly look at for next year.
That's a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's a ton of cash. $10,000.
Do you have to be do you have to be a native to join this, or
No.
This is for everybody?
No, it's just Jessica. Yeah, Jessica Naveau. That's right. She was the contact. She did an amazing job. They had a huge spaghetti dinner, fed all the anglers and all the people that.
We should have gone to.
Well, maybe next year we should, because this sounds like quite the tournament. It really does.
Yeah.
Whether we join in and become anglers in it or just cover it, because
I actually have a question now.
Yes.
I remember.
Okay.
What is the difference between a derby and a tournament?
Well, I would imagine a derby is more family orientated, so that kids can be involved.
No, but do you remember the salmon derby?
Yeah.
Like last summer at the Lake Ontario? That's not kids.
Maybe a derby, you're allowed multiple entries. I don't know. I honestly don't know. A derby or tournament.
Guys, if you know what a derby is, in terms of fishing, what's a derby and what's a
tournament?
What's
question.
the difference?
Yeah.
See, I asked a good question.
No, that's a great question.
Yeah. So let us know. And if you
want more information, get a hold of Bill or Jessica Naveau, or just look at it on Facebook or Google it.
Okay, Bill got the answer already. So CD more than one day. That's a derby, I guess.
A derby is more than one day.
Oh, okay.
Right on. If it's not Ed, it's Bill.
I always associate derby with like fried chicken.
Sure you do. Okay.
Yeah, because Kentucky Derby, there's the Kentucky Derby, and there's Kentucky Fried Chicken. So when I hear the word derby, I think about chicken.
How does a horse race make you think about chicken? Oh man!
Well, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay, but one's okay. You know what? Let's not waste any more time.
Okay, let's not waste time.
Okay. So do you want to call Ed now?
Okay. What are we gonna talk to Ed about?
We've got a couple things that we want to talk to Ed about. One obviously is the upcoming Bowmanville tackle swap that he and you and the rest of us are going to be at.
Okay. So, and I guess I should change this to.
What are you doing?
So see, what did I do?
There he is.
Mr.
The man, the legend, the icon,
Mr.
Ed
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie from Chasing Eyes Charter. Ed, it's good to talk to you.
How are you, sir? You're on TV. Or live. Hi, Ed.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are
You're
you?
a big softy, Red.
Sorry, Choppy?
I said, you're a big softy. You're going to have to start carrying tissues for meeting all these famous people.
Oh, you're talking about me as being the big softy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Scotty because he fell through the ice.
No, that
big.
guy's fall through ice.
But Scotty is a bigger softy than me. He's like
Okay.
He's like a teddy bear.
All right. Let's not waste Ed's time. Ed, couple things we want to talk to you about, but one of the things that I reached out to you today and asked you, it's kind of a hot topic, and I don't know if there's a lot of talk being discussed, and I know they had a town council meeting, I believe it was yesterday, in regards to what's going on at the Ganaraska River.
So
yeah, that was February 22nd.
That was the 22nd?
Yeah.
And any word on what came out of that?
Before you do that, Ed, I'm sorry. Before we talked about that, let us, just for people who don't know what Ganaraska River is, even me, I don't know what Ganaraska River is.
You were there.
Well, I was at the mouth, but I don't know the whole.
Okay.
I have here on the live telecast or live Facebook thing, the map of the river. So if you could kind of like give us an overview of what it is and just an overview of it. Where does
Well, it's one of Northumberland's biggest watersheds draining into Lake Ontario. I couldn't tell you what the mileage of the river is itself. I fished headwaters all the way down to the lake. Not in one day, obviously, but over the course of time.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it scales. If you look on the scale there, it's at least 4 or 5 kilometers long.
You go past the
much longer than
much
that.
longer
you
than
go
that.
past the 401.
Oh yeah, so it's way up there. Yeah,
past 74.
Sylvan Glen,
and like here.
So I guess the topic is, and again, Ed, I'm just weighing in at the initial stages of it because I don't know a lot of the history, but based on what I've heard from people, they have said that there's been a lot of illegal activity. There's a lot of bad behavior when it comes to angler etiquette. People wasting fish, there's drinking, there's all kinds of stuff. And what's happened in the city is they've had to have their own law enforcement police the area, which is at a cost to the city. And unfortunately, all the tickets go back to the province as opposed to the municipality. So the municipality is trying to absorb some of the cost of patrolling this area by enforcing, it looks like a fee of $40 to fish in the Port Hope area.
Well, there's the fee. They're talking about a $40 fee to fish, but they've also passed, as of February 22nd, some new bylaws that aren't sitting very well with a lot of the trout fishing community. What they're talking about, these new bylaws are in the parks and some of the public areas, is opening the river at 7 a.m. and closing it at, I believe, 11 o'clock at night, which will eliminate any night fishing down in the trenches or anything. So for shift workers, that might be the only time that they get out, other than when they're not working. Mm-hmm. It's not sitting well with a lot of the community. Mm-hmm.
And now, the shame of it, obviously, Ed, is that it has to get to this point. It's a shame that there's this kind of activity that does go on. I know from people that I've spoken to that have fished that area, they don't normally like going there on the weekends because of how crowded it is and how inappropriate some of the behavior is amongst anglers, that people would prefer to fish during the week. So right off the bat, it's a shame that it has to get to that. But in your eyes, obviously, just based on what you just said, this may not be the best course of action.
Not as far as I'm concerned. What they should do, the biggest problem is the steps. It's a shallow water area running from, I believe, Rogers Street to Molson Street. The water's deep enough to fish, but it's fast. And what happens, the fish get up there, they're tired, they're gasping for air. Lines drifting through, whether intentionally, illegally, whatever, are just getting sucked into the fish's mouth, hence snagging. So what, in my opinion, they should just make that whole area a sanctuary. Do not allow any fall fishing in there at all.
Okay.
And what that will do is it will, they've got to do their, get the MNR involved, post the signs, this is a sanctuary. Even I was talking to a bunch of guys today on the river about it, and they say if this thing gets passed, that, they can kiss Port Hope goodbye, and all the other local Northumberland, Durham region streams are just going to get the rest of the pressure, and the snaggers are just going to move on. Mm-hmm. Snaggers are going to be snaggers. You can't, the only thing you can do is catch them, take away their license, their privileges, their fishing gear. Mm-hmm. If they're multiple offenders and you catch them, you take their vehicles too. You have to make it so that they don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, Ed, if I may cut you, I just have a question. So these snaggers, their activity, is it like that big that it affects the fishery? Or these are just like misfits that, are doing
Well, see, the problem with the salmon is they're on their way to die anyways. After they spawn, they die. Okay, so and for a lot of people that aren't particularly good fishermen, but they enjoy fishing, or they enjoy catching. Their only object is these are huge fish. 20 to 40 pound fish running up these rivers are easy targets.
Yeah.
And whether it's ego, whether it's illegal activity, as in taking the fish and selling them, or selling the roe, or whatever their motive is, you have to curb that. The only way to do that is you have to hurt them financially. Yeah. Take away their privileges, take away, their gear, take away their licenses, take away, if it's multiple offenders, take away their vehicles that they come in.
Right.
And the ministry has the right to do that.
Right.
And I have one more follow-up question, please. Can someone do a citizen's arrest? Let's say you're Scotty Martin, you're in the river, and then you see somebody doing it illegally, and can you
I know what you're saying, and I know in the 40s and 50s they could do citizen's arrest. If you did it now, you would probably end up dead. These guys would carry knives. They're not
friendly people.
No, they know that they're doing stuff that is wrong. Yeah. That's why they're doing it in the middle of the night. Hence, the hours that the city is trying to ban, like no fishing from 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. till 7 the next morning. So anyone that's down there in that particular area, because there are easy targets in that area. Yeah. You're talking water that's in most cases less than 3 feet deep, and you've got hundreds of them running up there. They're just easy prey.
Well, okay, and I'm looking at some of the responses that we're getting. Like Rob Henry, he says, "I don't know how many salmon I've seen floating down the river with the guts cut out of them for the sake of roe." When I hear stuff like that, it's totally disturbing. That's what we're doing. I mean, obviously we know they're running the river; they're eventually going to die. But it's
what's going to happen with these fish, whether they're snagged or they get to do their spawn. Hopefully, in the perfect world, everybody would be happy, and the fish get up there to do their spawn, and they die. But what's happening with them dying carcasses, anyways?
Yeah,
they're coming down the river.
Right.
Okay. So, I don't want to say snaggers have their place because they don't. But in the same breath, I've witnessed this on pretty much any stream that receives a salmon run. Bowmanville Creek, for example, if you go down there in, the middle of September, the place, you can't even get near it for the smell of dead, rotting salmon. And, that affects the entire town, right? But, there's no way of getting around it. That's part of nature. Pacific salmon, they live for 4 to 5 years. They come up the rivers, they spawn, hopefully, do their thing, and then they die. But I'm not saying, like I said, the snaggers are 100% wrong. Yeah. Okay? If you catch the fish legally, take the fish with you if you want it. Whether I'm not going to say, use it for fertilizer, but smoke it or give it to a friend or whatever. But if you're going to take that fish, take the fish. Yeah. Don't just take the eggs out of her and leave her sitting on the side of the river. Behavior like that should be an instant fine.
Yeah.
If you get caught.
James actually just came up with a great comment. He said, "Why are people allowed to fish these fish during the spawn anyway? It's one of the very few species allowed to be targeted during a spawning period," and that's actually a very interesting point.
Well, see, the thing is they're not a natural fish in Lake Ontario.
Right.
They're an introduced species. Now, that doesn't make an excuse for it,
Okay.
but their run will also coincide with all the other trout that are in the river. You got your browns, you got your rainbows, you got your Lakers. They all come up the rivers at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the salmon are a little bit earlier, but it's just part of the process with the regulations the way they are.
Right.
So, for this discussion, what would be an ideal situation then? Are
Well,
you guys good with the new law, or
I don't think.
I'm not particularly happy because I really enjoy night fishing down there. It's peaceful. There's a lot less people.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing it in the trench. The trench is from the CN railroad bridge south to the lake, and that's where I probably fished
that's
Port Hope. Probably 95% of the time, that's where I am.
okay?
In my opinion, to do is, like I said, just make that entire area that where 90% of the snagging takes place.
Mm-hmm.
Just make it a sanctuary where you're not allowed to fish there from August 15th all the way through the end of the year.
And this is something that we can communicate with the government, and so that they can consider, or
Yes. Well, what would have to happen, I believe, is it would have to go to Port Hope would have to bring it to the MNR to designate that as a sanctuary where there is zero fishing. Even if they went from, after August 15th, from the north side of the CN bridge all the way up to the dam, zero fishing in the fall. Now that would eliminate all of them snaggers from being there. They're not allowed in there. Anybody up in there gets fined. It's that simple.
okay?
Most of the rainbow fishermen that's in the fall, they're all down in the trench.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that, sorry?
That's a trench right there.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Sorry,
The trenches from
I was just asking.
south side of the CN bridge, all the way down to the lake.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, it's all frog water. It's all slow water. It's all at minimum 3 feet deep down to, I don't know. I think it gets 8 or 9 feet deep down in there.
Wow. And this is
okay. Fish are a lot harder, and it's a lot wider. The fish they're not staged in one area like the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my solution. But I'm by all means, I'm no expert on that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I fished the river for over 30 years.
Well, I can call that an expert.
No, and that's exactly the reason we called Ed on this, because it's a passionate topic. You see, some of the feedback that's coming out of it. The OFAH is very much involved in it right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've had town meetings. Nothing has passed as I understand it right now. They're still working on that, but they need this kind of input from guys like Ed who have spent the time there, that put in the hours. And understand
I've had paid memberships in the Ganaraska Valley Fishing Club, which is a fairly exclusive club. It's a limited membership, and now that's above the dam, so that would be out of the jurisdiction of the new bands because it's a private club. Now, from what I understand in the new bylaws is it's all the parks like Sylvan Glen that are on the river and that the river runs through. You will not be allowed to fish from 7 a.m. Or until 7 a.m. and you're allowed to stay there until 11 a.m. So, it's from the feedback that I got on the river was probably 95% negative. Some of the people are in agreements with me is just shut that whole area down. Anybody that goes in there is trespassing, they're fishing illegally, they're poaching, they get fined.
Okay.
And they've already trained, like the Ontario Anglers or Hunters and Anglers Association, they have already trained the police on how to do this fishing fee, I can't. I'm not against it. Like $40 a year for most is, it's really nothing. But is it right to impose a fee on an angler who is already paying the Ontario government a fee for the privilege to fish?
Yeah. And is this the first time that this is happening? Because let's say Scotty and I was at this place last fall. We did our shoot there. And we have our conservation license that we pay for already, or sports license. And then we go to a place and then have to pay another time.
Well, you're basically turning, now this is just my opinion, but you're turning the Ganaraska River into a private...
Like an amusement park for fishing.
It's a private enterprise. It's almost like, if you take your kids to a stock trout farm, you go in and you pay your, $5, $10, whatever it is, for the privilege to fish. But now the only difference would be
you would have to release the fish.
At the stocked pond, you're paying for fish too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that's basically what they're going to do. If they want a $40 fee, they're basically making it a private enterprise, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself would bring its own legalities, because even say I go and I buy this $40 license, and I'm walking along the trench. The trench isn't in the greatest of shape. It's now private property that I'm allowed to fish on. I fall and I break my ankle. I can sue the town of Port Hope.
Right.
Okay, but not saying that this is just a for instance, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know which way they're going to go. Myself, I would not impose the fee, because then you take on a whole bunch of legal issues that could arise. What I think, my suggestion of just closing it from, close that entire steps area for the fall. Just close it. Anybody in there gets fined. End of story. And if there are multiple offenders, then you start taking stuff.
Yeah.
Vehicles, fishing gear, fines, loss of license.
Okay.
That's to me would be the logical thing to do.
Yeah, and Rob Henry actually posted a good comment. Is $40 going to stop people from taking over their limit? I would like to say or reemphasize exactly what Ed said. Poachers are going to be poachers. Snaggers are going to be snaggers. I don't think any fee you impose is going to stop that kind of activity. But at the end of the day, I think what is being missed in all this is the town of Port Hope is trying to take in some money for all the patrolling that they have to do, and it's not necessarily just what's going on with the fish. It's the garbage, the litter, the drinking, all this other stuff that goes on.
I agree 100%. But what Port Hope has to remember is, with that garbage comes all the tourism money from gas stations, restaurants. A lot of people travel a long ways to fish Port Hope. So there's motels. Wow. It does the revenue that the river generates in tourism outweigh what they're spending on enforcement? That's something that only Port Hope can answer. And like I said, I'm not privy to town council and stuff like that. I'm just far too busy and live far too far away to go to all the town council meetings. But I keep, I get updates from. There's a group on Facebook called Ganaraska Fishway that, and they are great proponents of the Ganaraska River and the counter and everything else. But only Port Hope can say, okay, well, fishing, throughout the year brings in, say, $1 million. Okay, enforcement costs us $300,000 a year. Well, Port Hope, you still had $700,000.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. The only time that there's a real problem is during salmon season.
Right.
So if they close that entire section of river down, anybody that's in there, you know, they get nailed.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I'd have to agree, and listen, we really appreciate your time on this.
Mm-hmm.
We're on to more cheery topics. We're looking forward to seeing you at the Bowmanville Tackle Swap with Peter Cito. I noticed you guys were out fishing today.
Yeah, we got out and we had a fairly decent day. Just some controversy on the river, on one of the rivers, but we dealt with it.
Yeah, Peter talked about it in one of his posts on Facebook.
There was controversy today.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Wow.
But as I said, Bill Aptrock, he says it best. It's a can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any perfect resolve. I do like Ed's idea of creating a sanctuary, because I think when you
just
start
at that time.
yeah, when you start double dipping, people are gonna right away say, well, if you're gonna take all this money, where's the enforcement? You can't pay the money without having the enforcement, and maybe enforcement is really all they need in the end. So it's opening up a huge can of worms. Great to talk to you about this, Ed. We really look forward to seeing you next weekend, my friend. And
I will cry too, Ed, when I see you.
Yes, we'll all cry and shed a tear.
I'm not bringing you any walleye, Red. That's not going to happen.
Right on.
Anyways, yeah, it was great talking to you guys. Like I said, that's just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that.
Good information too. So, like for me, because I didn't know the situation. So for people that are watching out of Ontario, they would have an idea what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm sure this happens in a lot of other areas. It's not just Ontario. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Places on the BC coast. I mean, everybody deals with this kind of issue when it comes to illegal activity and what have you. So.
Well, we can talk to Cliff Morris one day.
Absolutely.
Out there in BC. So.
Right on, Ed. Well, you take care of yourself, my friend. We'll see you next weekend.
See ya.
You too, guys.
Thanks for doing this.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's a great topic. It's obviously going to get a lot more press in the coming months, weeks, whatever.
So that's the actual river that we went to.
Yeah, so that's and I'll be honest with you, Red. This is the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it. When the OFAH gets involved in something, usually the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, they're a very powerful group. They're a lobby group basically that keeps the Ministry of Natural Resources in check, make sure that they're following laws and following proper etiquette and whatever. Very powerful group and very influential. So when they start taking a stand on something, everybody sort of takes notice. And again, I got
Is Ed part of that?
No. He's no different than us. Just a concerned citizen that has used the Ganaraska River for the beautiful fishing opportunity that it possesses, and for that reason, we're passionate about fish. We get passionate about issues like this, and I just wanted to see what some of people's opinions were, and we got a whole host of them, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, we're almost winding down, so let's just say hi to a few.
Ken,
our friends.
Yeah. Johnny Wakamoto.
Yeah.
We're gonna see him next weekend too.
Richard Dunlop. I've been seeing your videos of the C4 lures. They're kind of cool.
He's actually gonna do a little film that I'm gonna do some editing for, and hopefully. And again, Richard, thanks very much for the jersey. I was hoping to have it on, but it was in the truck, unfortunately, that drove away.
Oh, Red, I need to be a member of OFAH.
Red, you need to be a member. Yes.
Am I in trouble?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know about here, but you might be once you walk out the doors. So outside of that, Walleye Wednesday's coming up on Wednesday.
We don't have a trivia question. We forgot.
No.
Don't you have any trivia question for me?
You know what? I'm batting like what? I'm not even batting 100.
I didn't come prepared again. I'm sorry, guys. Does anybody have like a trivia question that you can ask us in the last 2 minutes? Otherwise, Walleye Wednesday, we're gonna have the episode. Yeah. Were you able to download all the?
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
40 plus, 50 plus.
Yes,
okay.
I'm going to be editing.
And they're really short clips, so
some of them are really short. Some of them are not.
Those are just B-rolls.
Yes.
The one with the towel was like longer, like 3 minutes.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Well. I don't see any trivia questions, so I look forward to seeing everybody at the Bowmanville Tackle Swap.
Is that the next? Well, next Monday we still have
Well, we do.
live
That's right. We have a live. Yeah,
We
that's
still
right.
have another live one. Maybe we can do like some sort of a promo to do on Monday, and if they see us on the Bowmanville show, they will get their prize.
Okay, so Ed's asked the question.
Oh,
Okay,
there
I'm
you
not
go.
answering that.
Ed to
I'm
the
not
rescue.
answering that. Yeah, I'm not answering that.
This is the trivia question from our.
Look at this. Look.
From
Bill,
our. Oh no, Bill answered already. Okay, let me guess first. The question, guys.
let me guess first. Now that you
What
see
is
the
the
answer.
record Canadian smallmouth? That's not my guess though. What is the record Canadian smallmouth bass?
Okay, can
Ed,
I
sorry,
guess 8 pounds?
Is this the whole Canada or just Ontario?
Canadian smallmouth bass.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill said 8. My guess is 8.2 pounds.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with Bill. What is the Canadian record? Yeah,
Okay.
Ken. Good
Yeah,
job.
Canadian. Yeah. So
You tell
8.2. How about Rob?
Rob's got 9.84.
Okay, why don't
Well, I know.
make a guess?
I guessed 8. I'm with Bill.
You guessed 8. You saw his. You're cheating.
I'm cheating. I think that's being resourceful. That's not cheating.
You have to change your.
Well, if you want,
Mine is 8.2. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. I told you I didn't want to
okay.
guess.
Ed, can you give us the answer already, Ed?
Ed has the answer.
Rob Henry guessed 984, but Rob Henry's good. He might be right.
No, Rob Henry probably caught one that was 9 pounds 84.
Yeah, that's the
all
kind
he
of
catches is
that's the
monsters.
kind of fish he catches.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Where is it? Where is it?
Rob nailed it.
Woohoo!
984.
Good job.
Is it because you caught that one, Rob? Are you the record holder?
He was probably with Ed.
984. Gert 18.3.
All
They
these people know.
How did you guys know?
No, you know what it is? We need to know.
It's probably on Google.
Thankfully, Ed is on our side. That's all I can
Thankfully, people know that we don't know a lot.
That's right. That's right. We're
So
here to learn.
yeah.
We're learning along with you guys. That's
biggest smallmouth bass caught in Canada, 9.84.
4 pounds.
That's almost 10 pounds.
Dude, that's massive.
That's a big.
That is
fish
massive.
for a smallmouth.
Like, think about that.
Like
Like,
this.
we caught a 10-pound walleye with Ed this past September.
Okay, Andy Anderson is the record holder.
But think about that. 9 pound. That's almost 10 pound friggin' smallmouth.
That's just like a few.
Oof.
Andy Anderson. I wonder where he's from.
Rob says I've never caught a bass that big. Oh.
But you catch big fish,
Yeah.
Rob.
You're still young, Rob. That's all I
That's
can say.
why
You're still young.
we are like thinking it was you.
Okay, so
Okay, so we can wrap it.
I think we're good.
The thing is, that's what we learned today. Is
Yeah.
about the.
go back and listen to it, guys. If you chimed in a little late,
Yeah.
this is a great topic, the Ganaraska River and the saga that's going along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Stay informed as we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning. We thankfully had Ed on here to
9.84 pounds.
9.84.
Biggest smallmouth bass.
Unreal.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah.
You're awesome. I'm
So,
gonna cry when I see
Thanks,
it.
guys, again. Appreciate all of the great feedback and your support, and we'd be nothing without you guys. So
Thank you.
thanks very much. Take care and have a great week. We'll see you next Monday.
See ya.
Boom.